everyone, Ellie here, and today I'm here to talk to you about our lower back. I hear so often that people's backs are hurting them, their lower back is tight, they are all stiff in the mornings, or even after they exercise, they're really stiff. So it's super important to take care of your back because first of all, it's the only one you have and you don't want to go through surgery or anything. So you want to make sure that you actually keep the muscles around your spine strong. And that's what helps your posture. That's what helps keep everything in alignment. Now, it actually comes down to your core. And I know a lot of people don't like the word core because it's very broad. So way back when we first learned about core, it was really just your abs. Right? Then it kind of migrated to, again, back to that proportion. So your abs have to be as strong as your lower back is, right? So you work them both together. Now it's gone even a step further where your core is truly everything from your top of your trunk down to your hips. So it's your abs, it's your lower back, it's your hamstrings, it's your glutes, it's your hip flexors. Everything that's holding your torso together really has to do with your core. So I want to give you a couple exercises today to try and strengthen those lower back and the core areas. And then at the end, we'll go over a few stretches to help you out, especially after you're done working out or after you've gone for a run. All right, guys, let's go. All right, so we're actually going to start with a total body workout, which is a plank. Planks are wonderful to warm your core up, your upper body, your lower body, your back, everything. So we're gonna start there. We're gonna go on to our forearms. You wanna make sure that your elbows are right underneath your shoulders and your arms are separated shoulder width apart. We're gonna go up onto our toes and push our bodies in line. Now you wanna make sure that you're staying in line, that your hips aren't dropping, and that your hips aren't up too high because you want to keep that core engaged the entire time. Now, if this is a little too difficult for you, you can actually do a high plank off of a higher surface, whether it be your couch, whether it be a bench, just a little easier on your shoulders. So really the goal of this is to do these exercises as you would any other exercises. So we want to do, say, 3 rounds of 30 seconds to start. If you can then work yourself up, 3 rounds of 45 seconds, 3 rounds of a minute would be phenomenal. All right, so that's the first one, kind of to get everything warmed up for you. Number 2. Now, we're going to lay back on our stomachs, and we're actually going to get a nice Superman squeeze is what it's called. Now, I personally actually used to hate Supermans. I didn't really feel like they did everything, and I felt like everyone really did them wrong. So I kind of want to go over the specifics of a Superman. Now, you actually want to concentrate on lifting up everything but your core. So your core needs to stay engaged and pressed onto the floor, and you're gonna lift your legs and your arms and get a squeeze in your upper, lower back, and your glutes. So, down to your stomach, arms are out. We're going to first step, engage that core, so suck those ribs in. We're gonna lift our upper body and kind of squeeze our shoulder blades, and lift our lower body and squeeze our glutes. You're gonna feel that from your glutes all the way into those love handles there. So, and then you're dropping fully back down. So every time you come up, you're engaging your core, squeezing your back, dropping straight back down. Just like that. These are not for speed, nice and easy, making sure you're concentrating and squeezing every time. Okay, number 3, we're gonna roll over onto our backs. We're going to keep our knees bent and go ahead and lie down nice and flat. And we're going to do a hip bridge. Now again, hip bridges are a very common exercise, but I want to make sure you're doing them correctly and doing them to the best of your ability that will literally help your lower back. Now, if I were to have my hands to the side and just lift up like this, right? That's what you think of with a hip bridge. Now, I'm not engaging my core whatsoever. You have to, before you even begin, I want you to push your back into the floor. So you're gonna tighten your back, because normally we're a little relaxed. your ribs come up a little bit, but I want you to suck those ribs in and stick your back into the floor so that way it's not arching at all. So now your core is already engaged. If you need to modify, we're gonna leave your hands to the sides and then we're gonna lift up. So you're continuing to keep those ribs sucked in, keep your glutes sucked in as you lift. To make it a little harder, you're gonna cross your hands across your chest. Again, tighten that core and lifting up. Now you're just bringing your hips so they're even with your knees and your shoulders. You will feel this a little bit in your hamstrings as well. Perfect. And relax. Again, if you can get 3 sets, 30 seconds, work up to 3 sets of a minute. All right, we're gonna go back on the other side. We're gonna actually go to our hands and our knees this time. This is what's called a quad Superman. So you're gonna have your hands underneath your shoulders, knees right underneath your hips, and again, we wanna contract that core. So now that we know, right, we're gonna take a deep breath in through our nose, out through our mouth, and kind of keep our back nice and flat, sucking those ribs in. Think about pulling your hips in together. Now, we know a regular Superman was on our stomach lifting up. Now we're gonna do a quad Superman and we're gonna alternate. So what we're gonna do is we're actually gonna extend our left arm up and our right leg. So we're completely in line and we're gonna go back down. So notice, as you lift, the goal is to keep your back as flat as you can. So you're not arching up, right, and losing that form. You're keeping nice and still. Fully reach through your fingertips and through your toes. If you want a little bit of challenge, we're gonna do a quad Superman crunch. So as you reach, you're actually gonna come in and bring your knee and elbow together. All right, last one on the floor we're gonna do is what's called a scorpion. So we're gonna go onto our stomachs. I want you to have your elbows even with your shoulders. Now this is actually a really good lower back stretch, actually a really good chest stretch as well. So we're gonna start by leaning into our right armpit. So you're kind of going into that right armpit. We're gonna take this left leg and we're gonna throw it over the other leg and just relax it on the floor, digging that right armpit into the floor. That gets a nice stretch. We're gonna go over to the other side. Now your left armpit goes into the floor, right leg over, and look the other way. So we're alternating back and forth, getting a nice stretch. Notice how my head shifts opposite of what my leg goes. So opposite. And relax. Perfect. All right, I want you to bring it up. Our last two are gonna be standing. So our first one is, I found that a lot of times lower back issues actually stem from your calves and your hamstrings. So they may be tight and your hamstrings actually insert right on your butt bone, which is then covered by your glutes, which then go up to your lower back. So everything is intertwined, everything is connected. So you have to look at other options that may be just not right here. So we're gonna do what's called a good morning. And what I want you to do is have your feet shoulder width apart, hands behind your head, and you're gonna keep your chest back, and you're gonna have your hips back a little bit. We always wanna keep our knees loose, never locking out those knees, so just a little loose with your knees, hands behind, chest up, and we're just gonna fold at the hips and squeeze at the top. So folding at the hips, squeezing at the top. So there, once you come down, you're gonna feel a nice stretch through those hamstrings, coming up, getting a nice squeeze with the hamstrings and the glutes at the top. All right, our last exercise, it's what's called a windmill. Now, we want our feet shoulder width apart. We're gonna do this both sides. So first side, I want you to twist your toes to the left. And we're gonna kind of stick our right hip out, kind of like you're holding a baby on your hip. That's the type of motion. And we wanna put our right arm in the air. So, toes are pointed left, right hip is out. Right arm is up, left arm is down. And all we're simply gonna do is bend at those hips, reaching towards our toes, coming straight back up. So you wanna keep your spine in line. You're just folding at the hips, straight back up. So this is really good total core exercise. Reason being, you are getting your hamstrings, your glutes, your obliques, plus your lower back, plus your shoulders, everything. It's a great one. Other side, you're just gonna twist your toes. Left hip is out, left arm up, and you're folding. Reach it up. Now to make this more difficult, once you get good at it, the first thing would be to add a weight in the lower hand. Just a little bit extra you're taking down with you. Next step, we'll put the weight in the upper hand. Make it a little harder. Third is to have a weight in both hands, up and down. Great job, guys. All right, we're gonna do some stretches. All right, guys, it's time to stretch. So what I've found is when a lot of people have lower back pain, again, I'm not a doctor, my background is actually in athletic training and personal training. So from the athletes I've worked with, from the individuals I've worked with at the gym and at the high school and in college, is that a lot of lower back pain actually stems from other muscles being tight, like the calves, the hamstrings, or especially, your lower back, of course, or a weak core. Your abs may just be a little bit weak for your posture. So all things to work on. Now, so we're gonna kind of touch on some of those to stretch those areas out. First one is we're actually gonna get your obliques on your sides here. So what I want you to do is I want you to reach all the way up. And we're gonna bring one arm down to the side, little bend to the elbow, and reach up to the ceiling, reach across and look up. Now, every stretch, you just wanna take your time with it. Stretching actually should be done for at least 30 seconds each. Reason being, if you stretch for less than that, or 10 or 15 seconds, it's really just a tease for your muscles. It's just kind of stretching and releasing, stretch, release. So it's not fully releasing any tension or knots that are built up in those muscles. So take your time with it. This is just as important, if not more important, than working out. So make sure you add it into your routine. Good, feel that all down your side, into those obliques, into your hips there. And relax. All right, like I talked about before, we're gonna go into those hamstrings. So I want you to put your left leg forward, right leg in. Now, I like to engage my core before I stretch. So a little trick for that is to reach both arms up, engage that core like we talked about, and fold forward, reaching towards those toes. Now, if you can't reach, that's completely fine. Just reach towards your shin as far as you can and breathe through it. In through your nose, out through your mouth. Both hands are reaching, no cheating. Taking your time here. Trying to keep that knee into the floor. Perfect. And switch. Right leg out, left leg in. Reaching up and fold. Good, guys. In through your nose, out through your mouth. And relax. We're going to go on to our lower back. So onto our back, knees are bent. And we're just going to pull both knees up to your chest and pulling them in nice and close, kind of lifting your butt up a little bit here. And what I want you to concentrate on is releasing your shoulders down into the floor. And just close those eyes. If you can, shift back and forth a little bit. We're just gonna rock from side to side onto our hips, loosening that lower back up. Perfect, and release. All right, our next one's a little bit tough. So I want you to put your right foot on your left knee, and we're gonna lift our left leg up, all right? So your right foot is on your left knee. We're gonna lift that leg up, You can grab underneath your thigh and pull in nice and tight. Try to keep your back and your head on the floor. Just breathe through it. You're gonna feel that all in this glute, all in this hip. If you want a little extra stretch, we're gonna straighten that leg out. Engage more of those hamstrings. Good, and switch. So left foot on your right knee, lifting that right leg up, grab underneath. Little extra credit, straighten that leg out. Try to relax your neck. I know it's hard, you want to pull up like this, but just relax. Good. Perfect. Okay, the next one is one of my favorites. So we're gonna have our hands out to the sides, feet together. We're gonna let our legs fall to the left, and we're gonna turn our head to the right. Try to relax your knees all the way down to the floor. Try to allow yourself to get that full twist. Head turns the opposite way. This you'll feel through your chest all the way down that spine. If you want a little extra, I usually kind of just pull on my hip a little bit. Perfect. All right, we're gonna bring our legs to the right, head to the left, and if you wanna get a little extra pull. Good, back to center. All right, we're gonna make our way to our hands and our knees for what is called a cat-cow stretch. So hands are again back underneath your shoulders, knees are underneath those hips, and the first one I want you to do is I want you to start with your hips, and we're gonna curl our hips so our butt goes up and our belly button pushes down towards the floor, and we're going to look up. So we're pressing our core down into the ground. Hips are pointed so your butt is up. Following that, again, starting with your hips, we're gonna curl that butt in, slowly arching our back, bringing our chin into our chest. Suck that belly button in, control that core. Good, again, hips are gonna go up, curve that back, look straight up to the ceiling. Perfect, and curl it in. Arch, 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 bring that chin to the chest. And relax. All right, staying onto our hands and our knees. This time we're actually just gonna relax our butt down to our heels, and we're gonna bring our forehead to the ground. And just relax your elbows, relax everything into the floor. Deep breaths here. Your next step is actually to lift your elbows off of the floor. Spread your fingers out and reach forward as far as you can. Good, this is your extended child's pose here. And relax. Back up to a seated position. We're going to do the Hollywood stretch as our final stretch here. So I want you to extend your left leg out, reaching our right foot over our knee, okay? Now they call it Hollywood because you're gonna do a little pose here. We're gonna bring your right hand behind, the left arm is going to go over your knee, and you're gonna look over your right shoulder, all right? So your right leg is crossing, you're looking over that right shoulder, and I'm actually pushing my right knee with my elbow. So I'm getting a nice stretch. And then you pose like Hollywood. Good, hold that stretch, guys. Breathe through it. Look over that shoulder, get a nice twist. Make sure you also push that chest out. Good posture here. And switch. So Left foot over your right leg. Right arm is gonna push on that. Left arm behind and get a nice, good twist. Look over that left shoulder. Good, and relax. You guys did amazing. I'm so glad you can join me. I know this is a really simple routine, but I hope you can add it into your schedule. Get some stretches in, get some good exercises for your lower back into your routines. Thanks for joining me. See you soon.